Hi there beautiful creatures, welcome back. Today I thought I would do a video on my top 5 oracle decks that I would take with me if I had to go anywhere on a journey. You might see the light being a bit weird because I've got my aromatic essential oil diffuser atomizer thing going at the moment. It's also the dark moon, which I'm excited for. I love the dark moon and the new moon, as well as the full moon, as well as basically the moon. Just the moon, full stop. At any phase, at any time. Anyway, I thought I would get down to my top 5 oracle decks and see if you can guess them. I bet some will be a surprise to you. Alright, so in no particular order. The first deck, that makes it sound like a game show. It's not a game show. Anyway, I thought this would be interesting because I have quite a few oracle decks. So, the first deck that I would take with me is the Messenger Oracle by Raven Phelan, and she has a tarot coming out which I've been waiting for so long, since I knew it was in production basically, which looks really amazing. I love her artwork. So I keep a piece of jade, green jade, with this deck, and it's a smaller size deck, so it's actually more the size of a tarot deck. But one of the first ways that I got back into reading tarot and oracle after having a really long hiatus was following one of Our Moon 513's monthly challenges, monthly deck or oracle challenge, and journaling and creating spreads with this deck. And the imagery is just so powerful, and this deck is just such an amazing energy to work with that it really connects you back with your true calling and your true purpose. And that's what I love the most about this deck. So it's one of those decks that, you know, I'm gonna have and cherish for a really, really long time. For the, you know, I just love this wolf energy. I love her illustrations. I love the way she draws and makes art, and so many parallels between my life and her life, like with experiences of mental illness and stuff. You know, it's really, I feel like because of that I have an even deeper connection with this oracle deck that she created. And I feel like I'll have that same connection with the tarot deck that she created. Anyway, so that one's published by Blue Angel. It's by Raven Phelan. Now, the next deck is really special to me, and it is a Doreen Virtue deck. It is Healing with the Fairies Oracle. This would be its first publishing, which was in 2001. Which is probably when I got it. So I would have been 5, 6? That seems too young. I probably would have been a little bit older than that. Would I have been that young? Yeah, I think so. No, I would have been about 7 years old, and that was probably, sounds about right actually. So shit, I've had this deck for a really long time. Yeah, and it was just, so that's the little guidebook. When I was getting into fairies and working with fairies, but as a child does, you know, when we don't really take everything seriously. And I saw this deck and I begged my mum to buy it for me. And she did, and I've had it ever since. And, you know, it's a bit worn and faded and maybe a little yellowed. It's still in quite good condition though. But it has some beautiful illustrations, and it just has such clear messages. When I worked with this deck recently, I had an even more profound connection with it than I'd ever had when I was a kid, because obviously some of the messages I didn't really understand, or I didn't really get at the time, but now everything is really clear. And this deck has always been really profoundly healing and nurturing for me. And it's that aspect of the more, I guess, celestial fae, or the more cosmic fae energies, you know, like the kind of backing suggests that, which I really connect with as well. So I connect with kind of two types of fae energy. I connect with the more cosmic type and the more earthbound or earth inhabited type. Earth inhabiting type. But I love this. Some of the imagery also reminds me of tarot and of Lenormand characters, and I used to read this deck for my grandmother as well. So I have that connection there. So this is a deck that, this particular copy, I will never ever 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 get rid of. Ever. But there have been times where I haven't been able to find it either, where it gets lost in my house. But so far, it's staying put. So, that's deck number 2. The third deck I have has also been with me for a very long time. And it is the, I'll show you the box, the Oracle of Shadows and Light by Lucy Cavendish. And I got this when I was in my teens, and I bought it, or my mum bought it for me again at a Mind Body Spirit Festival. My mother is a lovely woman. She buys me all of these wonderful things. And I got Lucy to sign it, but I never put the date. But I think it was a new deck then. So Lucy has signed this one. Published in 2010, so that's quite a while ago now. And that's, I think I started working with it initially in 2010, but I didn't journal with it until 2012. So I've been working with this one since then. This is the stone that I have with it. It looks like a tiny brain. I don't know what it's called or even what its properties are, but it lives with this deck. And I mean, I love Jasmine Beckett Griffith's artwork, as you can imagine. I love the gothic borders on this deck. I like the backing. I've done some really powerful transformative work with this deck. In fact, just looking at the images makes me want to use it now for the new moon, but we'll see. I love the artwork. I love the messages in the guidebook. I love the messages that these beings give me. You know, there are fae beings in here, and mermaids and sirens and witches and, you know, all manner of creatures, and it really, of course, the Absinthe Fairy. She's come up for me a few times as a warning. You know, and just stuff like that. So I really love this deck, and it's been an incredible healer as well. So that is the Oracle of Shadows and Light by Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith, who does the artwork. So fairies and fae beings so far. Can you guess what the other decks are going to be? Dun 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 dun. Okay. This one will probably come as no surprise to you guys. It is the Brian Froud Heart of Fairy Oracle. Every time I use this deck, I connect so deeply with the fae. I journey with them in a new way, and they connect me to the physical side of the fae as opposed to the cosmic side. And every time I work with them, this is the no name card. I've had this one come up a few times. I see new cards that I thought never existed in this deck. I feel such strong messages come off them. And I connect with the fae deeper and deeper. And they reveal to me aspects of myself that I need to heal. Recently when I did a spread with this deck, it revealed to me a lot of injury that had been done to my inner child. And really to focus on healing that side of myself, which is something that I've never really considered before, but makes a lot of sense. And they were kind of telling me that it was time to do that kind of work, and that would be the best way that I would be able to connect with the fae as well. Have I been doing that type of work? Probably not that much, but I know that I need to do it, and this deck was here to tell me that in very plain terms. And I love the spread in this guidebook, as well. It's the Fairy Path spread. It's a 7-card spread. And I got her as well. And every time I use this deck, I feel like I know I have a very real and tangible connection with the fae. And sometimes I forget it. And sometimes I get so caught up in everyday society telling me that all my beliefs are bullshit and that they don't mean anything, that it's not that I believe it, but I get dampened. My spirit gets dampened by all of that. And whenever I use this deck, it makes me believe again. So yeah, I love it for that reason. So that is the Heart of Fairy Oracle. The next, which is number 5 in my opinion, it is actually 2 decks that I use this one when I use it, and it is the Goddesses and Sirens and Gods and Titans Oracle by Stacey DeMarco and artwork by Jimmy Manton. They each have their own crystal. So this is a piece of Tiger Iron that sits with the Gods and Titans Oracle. And I love that the backing of this is like metallic. I love that it looks like a fucking legendary epic movie. I pick up these cards and I feel so much power and energy in them. Like real tangible force of energy within these cards. Which is why I could only use them for a certain amount of time, because I was quite overwhelmed by the presence of the gods that I felt when I used this deck. It was, Loki came up for me a lot of times, as well as the Green Man in this deck. It was just so powerful. Thoth, like, it has the pantheons that I kind of like and research, which I guess are the popular pantheons of like Egyptian and stuff, and some Hindu gods and as well, and I just love it. I just love it. I love it to bits and pieces. So when I use them together. At the moment, for storage purposes, they are separate in their boxes. So this is the Goddess and Sirens. And with this deck, I use this agate. It's sort of pink. I don't know if it's agate or calcite. I think it's agate. It could be a different stone though. Similarly, I love how it's reversed for me, because I normally associate silver with the feminine, divine feminine, and gold with the masculine, but they've reversed them here. And I love it. Oh, fucking of course, the card on top, Artemis. She's the goddess that I'm being very, very called to work with at the moment. And I was actually wondering the other day, I'm like, oh, you know, maybe Artemis is in that other deck that I own. And she is, she's right there. Like, hello, pay attention to me. I really like this fierce as fuck depiction of her too. Excuse the swearing. And the coloration. Yeah, that's amazing. Hathor. Again, I felt a very strong connection with the goddesses in this deck, in a very practical, down-to-earth way, as well as a spiritual way. So I totally love this deck as well. I know people that hate this deck and people that love this deck. It's all dependent on your the depictions. If you're into that sort of fantasy hero thing, which, you know, I am, because I love fantasy artwork in general. And this kind of imagery really speaks to me. And like, I feel like the embodiment of the archetypes are in this deck as well. I can't wait for Stacey DeMarco's Gospel of Aradia. That is going to be freaking amazing for it to be released. So, yeah. Oh, and I'll show you Sekhmet, and then we shall end. But yes, I saw the Baba Yaga in this deck, and I thought, fuck yeah! Because Baba Yaga is a tale that I've grown up with, coming from a Serbian background. And when I saw the depiction of her, I'll try and find it. I just thought that was amazing. Here. I just loved it. It was so brutal, and I've been doing a bit of research into Eastern European shamans, and one of them is sort of Hungarian, what are they called? I remember the name now, but now it's sort of on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember what they're called, but Hungarian shamans that were protectors of their society and their tribes. And quite a bit of my background is actually Hungarian and German as well, so as well as Serbian. So that was really awesome to find out that kind of stuff and sort of draw a bit more from that mythology in my practice and trying to fit all the pieces together. Anyway, those were my top choices. I'd love to know what your choices are in Oracle decks. You know, what would you take with you? What are your top 5 Oracle decks, full stop? And yeah, please leave your comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!